the Undergraduate Research Symposium at the University of Oregon and to our student panel. I'm Laura Fernandez. I'm the Executive Director from the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning SAIL program, and I'm excited to our student panel. I'm Laura Fernandez. I'm the Executive Director from the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning SAIL program, and I'm excited to introduce you to an incredible group of college students today who are involved in college research, campus life activities, and the summer SAIL programs. Today, we are featuring college students in research who will demystify and define what research really means, who can do research, and when you can start. So I hope you will participate in the many live and pre-recorded presentations from University of Oregon students that are happening throughout today during the symposium. These sessions will also be available to you after today on the symposium website. Please feel free to ask questions at any time in our Q&A section, and we'll do our best to answer your questions in the allotted Q&A time. Next, let's briefly enjoy a video of the University of Oregon, and then I'll introduce our students.
So you probably have a lot on your mind right now.
And I'm sure there's a lot of schools you're considering.
But before you make that next big decision,
there's some things you need to know.
First time I stepped on campus and there were just trees everywhere in these beautiful brick buildings. There's birds chirping and people talking and everyone's excited to be there. It's alive is what this campus is.
I'm really happy that I went somewhere I would be able to explore many options and figure out exactly what I was interested in.
You get that chance to grow and improve as a person and also be able to have the leadership role.
I felt like I was going to both be pushed and succeed and exceed the expectations that I had for my college career.
If you really want to be out there and you really want to participate in things that you've never done before, this is definitely a place that can happen.
This institution really shows you how higher education is possible. You have so many people and a sense of community around you that are willing to help you.
When I met all my professors, they were just so warm and opening to me. I'm just like, I feel safe on this campus knowing that I have these people I can go to. This is where I am meant to be, and I am so happy that I made this decision.
Everyone is very welcoming, and I could definitely see I belonged here.
Trust within yourself that you're going to make the right decision.
This is another transition in your life where you make a full leap of faith. But if you take that leap of faith, you'll fly.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video for the University of Oregon showcasing all kinds of opportunities that are available to you on a college campus. Now I'd love to introduce to you Addie Fecker from the Assure Student Research Program to share with you a little more about the symposium and student research. Welcome, Addie.
Hi, thank you for having me. So I'm one of the members on Assure, and that stands for Associated Students for Undergraduate Research Engagement. And so we're a student group here on campus that helps students who want to get involved in research find their research home and help them prepare applications and prepare their presentations for the symposium. And a bit about me, I'm a senior at the University of Oregon. I'm a bio major, and I found my research home at the Institute of Neuroscience. And my method of actually finding that position was I just emailed a bunch of people from the biology department off the website, just hoping, one of them would take a chance on me because I really didn't know how available these opportunities were. So I felt like I had to find them myself. And that's something that on Assure we're really trying to challenge. And we're really trying to make resources more widely known and more available and accessible to students. And so one of the ways that we do that is we held a undergraduate research fair. And this allowed students to come in. They got to network with faculty mentors who ran their own labs. They got to learn about some of the funding opportunities that we have on campus and learn about finding positions on Handshake or on on other websites that faculty members post on. But at the end of the day, my advice to every student is that research is possible, no matter what your passion is. Every single faculty member here is really open to working with you. If you haven't found, a mentor who's studying what you want to study, that doesn't mean it's not possible. And so for me, I definitely have found my feet on the University of Oregon community through research. I've met so many amazing people who are doing work in things that I know probably very little about, but their enthusiasm about it allows me to have that discussion with them. And so I definitely encourage everyone to be involved at some point. And I know like a lot of freshman classes try to involve students in that. And so one of the things Ashore does, you might see us around campus coming to your class and giving you workshops on how to prepare a poster, prepare oral presentations that you'll be watching all day on the symposium. And so a lot of students, take that first opportunity to launch their own individual research project. And so that's something that we've made a lot of changes since I was a freshman and, emailing random professors asking for, a position. And so I definitely see those resources getting ramped up even in the future. And I'm really excited that you guys are engaging with the symposium and research so early on, because that's a really good sign. And I wish I had that opportunity and initiative when I was an undergraduate. So I'm going to turn it over to Isabel to talk more about our University of Oregon options for students.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I'm a junior here at the University of Oregon. I'm also a biology major and have also found my research home in the Institute of Neuroscience in the SMEAR lab, where we investigate olfaction. So for us, the university actually has a lot of different options for funding student research. We're definitely trying to get more students involved through programs such as CURE, UROP, and other scholarships through departments. So for example, the university has a program called Oregon Undergraduate Researchers in SPUR, which partners with our SPUR program that's run through NSF to have University of Oregon students participate alongside visiting students in graduate level development classes, producing their own research and having a miniature symposium at the end of the summer. So I participated in this last summer, along with some of my peers that are actually participating in the symposium today. So that is an amazing opportunity. You get $5,000 for the summer to conduct your research, along with professional development, a lot of talks given by other faculty members, such as the physics department, chemistry, biology, everything you can imagine. But in addition, we also have money to fund other parts of summer research, such as the SURF Award through the CURE program, the Peter O'Day Fellowship, which I just recently won through the biology department, and other scholarships such as VPRI and such as mini grants that you can apply for every single term. So there are a lot of ways that you can actually get involved and get your research funded. And like Addie said, there are many ways to get involved. For me, I've found my research home in the Institute of Neuroscience after jumping from the psychology department to the education department, now to Institute of Neuroscience. And it's okay to explore your options. We're ultimately all trying to find our home, and we're here to help you find that home. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Momo, who has found her home in a different area of research than Addie and I.
Yeah, hi everyone. Super grateful to be part of this panel and see everyone's face. Like has been said, my name is Momo and I'm currently a fourth year senior. I am in the political science department and international studies, so I'm doing pretty different work. So I found kind of my research home looking at food sovereignty and social movements, which has been a really exciting way for me to engage really deeply with communities across the world. So I first was involved with research my freshman year when I participated in a fellowship that was in Europe, and part of the way that I made that possible financially was through doing an additional research project, which meant that I could apply for a grant that was only for research. So I kind of fell into research by accident, just by coming across grants and figuring out that if you do research projects, you can get to travel to really awesome places and meet cool people and explore the questions that are most interesting to me. So I've been really fortunate to be able to participate in some of the programs that Isabel mentioned. I've also been a part of the HERF program, which is the Humanities Undergraduate Research Fellowship, which is great for those of us who are not in the STEM kind of hard sciences, doing other things. So it's been really amazing to see how through doing research, I've been able to travel and made that financially accessible for me, since otherwise I wouldn't have been able to study abroad. I studied abroad in South Africa my junior year and studied social movements. So that was really amazing. And without having this kind of research platform, I definitely would not have been able to do that. And I've also been able to go to some conferences. I went to New York last spring, which was really amazing. And that was also funded by a grant from CURE. So it's really cool to see how through doing research, you can connect with people and travel and just experience the world. And I think your college experience and make it a lot more personal to exploring the kind of questions that you're really interested in, which has been really amazing for me. So I definitely am so grateful that I kind of came across research and found mentors and funding, and would highly encourage anyone, because research is really not just for hard sciences, not just kind of in your lab coat doing cell stuff, which is also totally awesome. But if you're like me and that's not quite your thing, there's totally other opportunities to do it. And there's really something for everyone. So super encourage anyone to get involved in research and talk to us, because we're here as mentors and are happy to walk through the process at any stage of it. Thanks.
So at this point, we're happy to answer any questions that you guys might have about getting involved in research, or maybe more about what Assure does. And if you aren't comfortable asking questions right now in this format, you're welcome to email us. Our website's going to be posted at the end of this, so you're welcome to send us questions. We're happy to answer it. I think one of the great things about working in Assure is I definitely came from a science background, but having this job has allowed me to meet so many other students in different disciplines that I do feel comfortable that I can give, advice and help people find those resources. So personally, for me, I love talking to students and helping them find what they want to be involved in. I guess a question that I would ask Momo and Isabel, since you guys are kind of, towards the end of your undergraduate career, how would you compare the way that you went about research or thought about it, when you were a freshman and sophomore, maybe compared to now? What has been the biggest change for you?
I think for me, at least, I've started to think about graduate school and seeing how the projects that I've been working on now are going to be informing longer projects. Because I did a project my freshman year as part of the honors college, which was like a short, just over the course of one term. And that was really great to see how it was like had a very clear start and end date, which I think is super valuable and really awesome to kind of get your feet wet. But now it's fun to think about longer term projects that kind of extend beyond graduation and get at like kind of bigger questions, which is a little bit intimidating, but also really exciting.
Great. And we have a question from somebody that says, can you get an international scholarship from Asia coming to UO to learn pre-med? So I think that person is asking, can international students get that kind of funding to do their own research? And it sounds like this person, is interested in maybe scientific research. I know, Momo, you said you traveled some places, so maybe you can talk more about that.
Yeah, definitely. So the projects that I did, that was, so I'm a US based student, but I got to travel internationally. But I know that all of the research scholarships that we have available and grants are also, if you're a U of O student, it doesn't matter if you're a US citizen, you're totally able to apply for them. So it sounds like in the case of the student who's asking, if you're maybe an international student coming to U of O, you're totally, that's awesome. And you can apply for that. And you could either go to Asia or go. Yeah. Oh yeah, also
Megan also had a really great question. What are some of the surprising projects that students might not realize fall under the research umbrella? So I have an example of that. So last year for the symposium, I actually participated in educational research, looking at how students with autism are getting into college and how we're able to assist those students in college, and looking at the institutional changes that we need to make in order to get more children with autism into college, because the rate is currently pretty low, despite having on average above or even higher above average intelligence. So there are definitely a lot of things that you can place into research. I know somebody else on our panel had conducted research regarding the Salem witch trials. So there's so many different things that fall under research, history, ethics, language, linguistics, so many different things fall under the category of research that you can imagine.
Yeah, and I guess for me, my unexpected research project, I was in a literature class for the Honors College. And through that, I was, writing creative works. And that was something that I had never done before, really. And my teacher in that class really became a mentor for that. And she really encouraged me, do this for the symposium and really throw yourself into it. And so that was something that, I'm, writing on my computer. How is that research? But it really is, because you're, learning and you're reading other works and you're kind of developing your own voice. So that's another creative kind of style of research you can do. Are there any other questions?
That was fantastic, panelists. I am so appreciative, Momo and Isabel and Addie, for all of your experiences that you've shared. And everyone that's viewing today, I hope your takeaway is that you can do research in any area that you're interested in, and there are so many resources for you to get involved. So thank you again, everyone. I would love to invite Megan Faulkner. She's our program manager for the SAIL program. She is going to introduce some more college students with some experiences in campus life programs. And let's welcome Megan.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here. We're so excited that you're joining us to learn more about research and the undergraduate experience in the U of O campus. We're so happy to share with you. So I have some awesome panelists that are here to talk with you about campus life, just kind of what it's like being on the U of O campus. And we'll talk a little bit about research, but we'll talk about all kinds of great ways you can get involved as well. So I'm just gonna have all of our panelists introduce themselves. We'll get their name, their major, kind of what college that they're in. Maybe you can tell us where we could find you on campus, kind of what your organization is all about, and what kind of research, if you are involved in research, what kind of research you are involved in right now. So Maya, do you feel like going first?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Maya. I'm a freshman and a political science major. I am associated with the Clark Honors College. But other than that, you can just find me around campus. I'm a friendly face. And the research that I currently do is I work with the School of Education, Methodology, Public Policy, looking at how English language learners are affected by district policies, basically.
Awesome, thank you, Maya. How about Raul?
Hey everyone, my name is Raul. I work for the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning SAIL program. I actually graduated from the U of O last year in the spring, and I studied Family and Human Services, which is in the College of Ed. And on campus, you can find me at Organ Hall on the first floor, where other student support programs are at. And you can come to us this summer at our summer program. And research that I've done, so in the College of Ed, my senior year, I did a small research project in the Springfield School District. And it was a really cool, eye-opening experience because I didn't see myself as a research student, but really learned how to do research through that project.
Awesome, thank you, Raul. How about Skylar?
Hello, everyone. My name is Skylar. I'm a senior and I'm a double major in advertising and French. I'm also part of the Clark Honors College. And I work with UO Housing, specifically with first year programs in the residence halls. I'm currently involved with research because in the Honors College during your senior year, you write a thesis and then you defend that. So I actually just finished my thesis this week and I'll be defending that next week. And my research project focuses on cross-cultural communications in France and the United States.
Wonderful, thank you so much, Skylar. And Abby, how about you?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Abby. I'm a double major in journalism and media studies through the School of Journalism and Communication. I am a graduating 5th year senior. And you can find me working as a student coordinator for first year programs on campus. First year programs is a department under the undergraduate education student services sector of the university. And we put together specially designed programs for incoming freshmen to take alongside their classmates that introduce them to college and guide you through the transition of coming to college. In terms of research, I'm currently writing my thesis on what we gain when we look at Beyonce's formation through a racial and class-based theoretical framework. And I'm also doing a research project with a journalism school professor looking at the efficacy of the SOJC's curriculum and where it is in terms of what the journalism industry is looking for in new college graduates.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to learn more about what everyone is up to and what organizations you're a part of. So like we did before, you're welcome to add any questions that you have into that Q&A box, and we will get to those as they pop up. And for right now, let's go ahead and start us off with Abby. Abby, question for you. What organizations at the UO have helped you feel the most at home at college? And thinking of incoming students, how can they learn more about and get involved in these organizations?
Yeah, these are really awesome questions. The organizations in my time that have helped me feel most at home, first I would say it was being a part of the U of O's choral department. I sang in several choirs. I sang all through high school. So being able to kind of immediately step into that community and have that there was fantastic. The second organization would probably be the community within the self-defense and martial arts. I've taken specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and also women's self-defense. And I've been able to connect with people both through the Student Rec Center and at a local gym. And then lastly, I have been a part of Ethos Magazine, which is an on-campus student-produced multicultural magazine. I was a writer and photographer, and I was briefly an associate editor before I was promoted to copy editor. And I've loved being a part of the journalism community through that platform, for sure. And for incoming students who want to learn more about what's available at the University of Oregon, I strongly recommend going to the University of Oregon's OrgSync website. We'll include that link at the end, but OrgSync is a platform where all of the registered U of O clubs, organizations, fraternities, sororities, etc. will post. You can find information about what each organization does, who is within leadership roles, how to contact them, etc. It's a really great way to see just what U of O students are up to and what they're interested in. And if you come to campus and there's no club or organization for something you're interested in, you can use OrgSync and start your own club, which is super awesome.
Abby, great info there. Thank you so much. Raul, question for you. How can students start getting connected to the UO right now or any colleges that they're interested in?
Yeah, great question, Megan. I would say that students could keep an eye and ear open. Many universities and colleges have a lot of free events that are open to the community. I know as a student, I was involved with the Mecha group on campus, which is for Latinx students. And we every year hosted a Dia de los Muertos event. And we invited community members, and it was this big event. And younger students could definitely get connected with both college students and university faculty members at those events. And there were a whole bunch of events like that. I think Abby just said the OrgSync is a great way to get connected and find out all those free events. Another kind of formal way to get connected would be emailing departments or college admission people, and just simply asking them how you can get involved at the current point that you're in. They love to help, and they love kind of spreading their college and letting you in, knowing more about what they do. And then it shows great initiative later on when you do apply to school, that you kind of took those steps before and tried to get involved with the school. And then participating in pre-college programs. So later on, I'll talk more about SAIL and how to get involved. But pre-college programs definitely are really great to give you an inside look of what college looks like, what the certain college you want to go to will look like. And I know right now, because of COVID-19, many schools have virtual campus visits. So if whatever school you're interested in, look online and check to see if they have a virtual visit available.
Awesome.
And yeah,
That's awesome, Raul. Lots of great tips there. We have a question for Let's Ask Our Housing Person. We had a question come in through chat asking about housing. So Skylar, what should students think about when they are deciding where to live or what housing to apply for?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a couple different things that you want to think about when you're applying for housing, thinking about where you want to live as a first-year student. So the first one is there's a bunch of different communities on campus in the residence halls that we have. So there's opportunities to live in these basically groups that all live together in the same residence hall, take classes together sometimes, and basically are grouped together based on similar academic interests. So those are really awesome. There's things called ARCs, which are academic residential communities, and then just residential communities. So there's more information about those on the website for housing, but basically those are community groups within housing. Other things to think about are if you want to have one roommate, two roommates, what kind of style of room you'd like. Sometimes there's suites where it's like a couple different rooms connected with two bathrooms, all in one suite. And then another thing to think about would be if you want your roommate to be someone you already know, if you want a random roommate, there's also a really cool opportunity for students to meet each other with an app to find other students who they might want to live with and kind of see other people who are also seeking out housing. So there's a lot of different opportunities for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Skylar. And then this question is for Abby. So thinking about freshman courses, how much freedom do freshmen have when they're choosing their courses? And are there any required freshman courses for students who are coming in?
Yeah, this is a great question. Generally, when freshmen are incoming, the only required classes tend to be the writing 120 sequence. However, depending on your high school experience, if you did dual enrollment or if you took an AP or IB exam, or just otherwise pursued ways to earn college credit for those classes beforehand, you may or may not have to take those. For example, I took IB English and I took the exam and I received enough credits so as to where I didn't need to do the writing 120 sequence because I earned those credits through an exam in high school. Otherwise, it's extremely flexible. If you're coming in as an exploring major, you can take any manner of classes. Every student at the University of Oregon has general degree requirements that need to be met in terms of taking a certain number of literature courses, social science courses, and science courses. But you have a lot of freedom in choosing which of those courses you want to take. So like for my language courses, I really wanted to take a lot of introductory survey courses in literature from cultures different than mine. So I took Introduction to African American Literature and Introduction to Latinx and Chicanx literature. There's so many options, and they all, working with your advisor, you can make sure that all of those classes are counting towards your general degree requirements.
Awesome, thank you so much. My question for you, for students who are starting to think about college, what are some tips for applying and getting into their college of choice?
Yeah, so I'd say if you find a school that you're really interested in, if you find a school you're really interested in, I would start just talking to people on campus. There's a lot of students who are probably really happy to talk to you about their experience, as well as if you're trying to look competitive for an application. I personally was really interested in education policy. So I, in my senior year of high school, just reached out to a professor and asked if he would just do like a conference like this and talk to me. And I included that in my application, which I think showed a demonstrated interest. So I would say get connected with professors. And then I also ended up working for that professor. So you never really know how that's going to work out. But I'd say as long as you have that demonstrated interest and show that you've really done a lot of research and care about an institution, you're going to look like a competitive applicant.
I love that. Great advice. Let's go back to Skylar over here. What makes the University of Oregon particularly special? Are there any sort of traditions or events that students can take part in and get excited about?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I personally think that one of the biggest things that makes the University of Oregon special is just the community on campus. It's really something you can feel when you're on campus, a lot of support for each other. All the professors are very supportive, students always building each other up. It's really awesome. You can feel that on campus. Some special traditions, of course, you have sports, football, basketball, stuff like that. That's a really big thing on campus. You also have the homecoming event, which happens in the fall. And that's a really cool event that kind of brings back people who have gone to school already. So the alumni come back. It's an opportunity for students who are first years living on campus to kind of get involved as well. And there's like a fun parade, stuff like that. There's also the street fair, which takes place twice a year. And also you can always just like find different organizations and groups with tables on campus. And it's a really cool thing to be able to just go talk to people, learn more about the organizations, and just really feel that sense of community.
Love that. It is such a fun campus. So Abby, question for you. Looking back, what advice about college would you give to your younger self that might help out an incoming student?
For sure. Looking back, I would tell my younger self to be patient. I came into college kind of expecting a lot of things to happen for me right away. I expected to be best friends with everyone in my hall. I expected to be really comfortable in a college classroom. I expected that I would be able to immediately hop into a routine that was good for me. And the reality of it is that it just takes time, and it takes experimenting and messing up and learning from it to figure out exactly what your path is, both academically but also just as a human. um, Going from high school to college and being in a more independent lifestyle than you might be used to. That, and I would also say to not put so much pressure on myself to be perfect and try to finish college in 4 years or always get straight A's. Like I'm a 5th year senior. It's taken me 5 years, and I'm not like, I'm fine with that because I just happened to find another thing that I was really passionate about late in the game. And I'm lucky that I've been able to pursue that. But I have no qualms with taking your time to do college and to do higher education. It's going to look different for everybody. And there isn't a right or wrong way to do college. It's what is right and best for you ultimately, and to be able to listen to that inner self and be confident with your decisions.
That's such good advice. Thank you so much, Abby. Maya, question for you. What is your favorite class that you've taken at the university, and why? I know you're finishing up your freshman year, so you've gotten a chance to sample some really fun courses so far.
Yeah, for sure. So my favorite class that I've taken so far was my History 290 class, Intro to Historian's Craft. And I really enjoyed this class because basically what we did is we looked at the Salem witch trials, and then we each got to pick a topic within that. So I chose gender in the Salem witch trials, and we were led through the process of just really basic research, how to write an annotated bibliography, how to search for professors, how to skim through academic journals. And at the end, I had a research paper and a poster produced, and I created a lot of good connections because it was a smaller class. And the research that I did, I actually ended up submitting to this symposium because some Assure students came in and talked to us. So I'd say my advice when it comes to like picking a class that you think is going to be really impactful is pretty much within every major, you'll find one of those like classes that's more research focused and helps you go through that process and build some really practical skills while also having the flexibility to look at something you're really passionate about. And I found that combination helped me grow a lot as like a writer and a researcher, but also was just really fun and helped me to understand like what research looks like for me and what that process is like moving forward. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that's such helpful advice. So this is kind of going to be a question that I'm going to ask of each of you, but I'll tell you when it's your turn to answer. So I would really like for you to share with our attendees, and Abby, I'll call on you first. What's something that you would like incoming students to know about research at the university? Or if there's any sort of research related myths or beliefs that you'd like to bust for our students?
Absolutely. Kind of tying back to my previous point, just as your higher education journey is going to be individual and unique to you, so is your research journey. I started research relatively late compared to a lot of students. I didn't really start until my senior year, my senior year. However, there are so many opportunities for you to experiment and try. For example, if you just kind of want to get a feel for what it might look like to do research, the University of Oregon has a common reading program where every incoming student receives a copy of a book that we've chosen around a central theme. And in association with the Undergraduate Research Symposium, there is a common reading award. So you can do research and literary analysis on the book and submit it to the Undergraduate Research Symposium for to be used and potentially receive an award for it. Additionally, you can utilize independent study credits. Most programs or departments will offer some form of independent study, which is awesome because you get to choose and decide who the best person to work with would be. And those options are usually credit variable. So if you have a gap in your credits that you need filled, you can fill it with an independent study with a professor that you're working with or a graduate student that you're working with on research and meet credits for any requirements that have to do with financial aid or scholarships, anything like that. Yeah, so, but ultimately my point being is that research doesn't have to be within a more like elite level. Like for me, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I still sometimes don't really know what I'm doing, but it takes a little bit of pressure off for me to know that I don't have, like, yes, I have this thesis that I'm writing for my senior capstone, but it's a relatively low stakes thing for me, all things considered. And it's required for me to graduate, but I feel like there's a lot of flexibility. And yeah, key takeaway, it's flexible, it's unique.
I think that's such great advice. Thank you for sharing. Excuse me. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Abby. I think that's really helpful. Skylar, what about you? What's something you would like to kind of share about research?
Yeah, I think it's really important to remember that research really is for everybody. I think for a while, being someone who studies humanities more so than sciences, I really thought that, you know, it was kind of a thing for people who were in the STEM fields. I had a lot of friends who were working in biology labs or medical labs, that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, they're doing research, but I guess that's not what I'm doing. But then it kind of hit me that, you know, I'm doing research about different cultures and doing analyses of stuff like that. And that's research. So think it's really important to remember that like really anything can be research. I've seen some of the coolest research projects that have been from the product design department or the art department, the music department, which aren't things we typically think of maybe as research, but it definitely is. It definitely can be, and there's absolutely something out there for everyone in every field with any interest.
Love it. That's so fun to think about all the different areas there are to really dive in. Maya, what about you? What do you want to share about your research or any advice about for incoming students in that field?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say being a freshman who's like engaged in research, it can be really intimidating because I'm young and I feel underqualified like 90% of the time. But I would just say you aren't ever underqualified to do research. I have just the amount of times I've just gone to a professor's office hours who I just found their topic to be really interesting and just sat down and talked with them. And they've been like, I have a little project that I could have you do. Do you want to go like scan the microfilms for me? And that's just like, oh, it's something I just learned a new skill that I can add to my resume. And I say, as long as you're really excited and engaged about something, if you just go talk to professors about it, they'll usually recognize that and they'll give you some little project, or maybe that will develop into a bigger research project. I think a lot of people think you have to have some giant grant or some master plan before you even approach a professor or a department to do research. But I'd say that's not the case hardly ever.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And then Raul, did you want to share a little bit about what you think students should know about research?
Yeah, definitely. Similar to, I think what Skylar was saying, that research is not always in a lab, and really sciencey. I myself, I'm not the biggest science person. As I said earlier, I was in the Family and Human Service program, and my research was a little bit different, and I didn't even realize it was research until after I did my project. But basically, the Family and Human Service program is all about helping other people out and servicing people in the community. And so my project was to work with students going through the GED program. And I researched different implementation or different interventions, and then just recorded what I did. And essentially I was mentoring some students and then just recording just kind of the stuff I was doing. And then that was my research. It was just to see if my intervention process was functional in the school system that I was in. So yeah, to kind of recap that, research can look very, very different. I really like my research because I'm really passionate about helping other students, because I myself got a lot of help during high school and even college. So I really love doing it and I'm very passionate about it. So I love that my research was something that I was passionate about.
Super cool project. Thank you, Raul. So we've got a couple rapid fire questions here in the chat before we shift on to the rest of our program. For you, Skylar, what are the main rules to follow when you're in a dorm? Things relating to food, curfews, decorations, parties, guests, etc.
Yeah, so I believe that in terms of food, usually, if you bring food up to your room, that's not a problem at all. There are certain things that you aren't allowed to have, certain appliances you can't have, and those are all kind of explained to you before you move in. But in terms of like parties and stuff like that, those are not allowed in the dorms. The RAs will come around and try to break those up if those do happen. Otherwise, guests, I believe, are allowed as long as they're on campus and coming in to visit. So yeah.
Perfect. And it sounds like I'm sure all of that will, an overview of that will happen during sort of introduction as well. Perfect. Super quick. Maya, how do you suggest, what are your top tips for spacing out projects and assignments for classes?
Yeah, I'd say get a planner. It's the best advice I can give you, and plan things out 3 weeks ahead because there's so many resources to help you on campus, but you just have to give them the time. Like pretty much every paper I've ever submitted, I've taken to the writing center, but you need to be able to plan that out about like you need to give it a week's time. So just really like look at your big projects and plan them out. and then also do the hardest stuff first. I know people always say that, but it's true. But yeah, there's so many resources to help you. You just have to know what they are and then have time to actually use them.
Wonderful. Quick question here for Addie about research. Does research cost money to do?
So kind of like we talked about, there's so many programs and grants and scholarships here at the University of Oregon to help support you to do your research. So there are always going to be some costs related to research, whether it's materials you're buying or, flying to somewhere or going to a conference. And we have specific scholarships and programs to help you with that. For instance, I was able to get a mini grant for my project, and that helped me buy supplies that I needed to buy. And then Momo, she was talking about, traveling to a conference. She was able to get a conference award to cover the cost of that plane ticket. But I will say overall, I don't think finances should be a barrier to you at all, especially if you're talking to a mentor and they agree to take you on. If there are costs related to the project that you're working on, I'm sure your mentor has already thought about that. And yeah, there's just so many resources as well if you're trying to, start your own individual project. But yeah, you can find a lot more information on the CURE website, and that will be posted at the end. And that has a list of like all of the scholarships and fellowships that we have that will, fund your research.
Great answer, Addie. Thanks for sharing those resources with all of our students. I got one last question here, and then we'll wrap up this panel. Abby, maybe you could answer this one. How should a college student go about budgeting for food, clothing, textbook materials, all those little things that pop up?
Yeah, this is definitely a question that is uniquely individual to each student's financial situation. What I strongly recommend is sitting down and looking at your past expenses and thinking, okay, so, this is where I tend to spend most of my money. And then looking up what the costs of like your textbooks for classes that you're interested in taking tend to be. And essentially creating a budget for yourself is really important. And like I said, it's going to look different for everybody. I can't give specific numbers because my situation is different than yours and yours different from another person. But I would say just like be very aware of just being aware of your money, like where money's coming in, how much is coming in, and where it's going, because it's really when you understand where it's going that you can start making the right adjustments so that you're able to cover your expenses and also still otherwise be comfortable and be able to do things like grab a bite to eat with your friends or go out on a date or something like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's such great advice, Abby. I think that point of knowing beforehand is so key. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for our attendees, for our wonderful questions. Those are so fun to answer. And to all of our panelists who just shared so much incredible information and I think are really such an inspiration for all of the exciting things you can do here on campus. So big virtual round of applause, and I'll turn it back to Laura.
That was fantastic, Megan. Thank you for guiding the students through all those questions, and for all you participants, keep the questions coming. Those are really, really great. I hope this is helpful for you. We only have a few minutes left in our time with you, and I'm very excited to share with you some information about opportunities you can get involved with this summer. So I'd love to bring Raul back on to share a little more information about the SAIL summer program.
Hey again, everyone. My name's Raul, like I said earlier. I have been working for SAIL now for 3 years. I started my junior year, and now 1 year after graduating, I'm working with SAIL, and I'm letting students know about what cool opportunities we have. So a little bit about SAIL. It stands for Summer Academy to Inspire Learning, and it is a pre-college program that's completely free. We serve underrepresented background students, middle school and high school, That could be first generational college students, meaning you'd be the first in your family to go to college, or lower income. And what we were trying to do is really help and inspire you to go to college and have a successful college experience. So SAIL, it's a great time to talk about it because the registration is opening May 26th. That's this Tuesday. To register, you can go online and find our website at sail.uoregon.edu. And this program happens the last week of July, and you will be taking subjects led by U of O faculty. And they're really excited to show you what kind of stuff you could be doing in college, how to get involved, and what their research is looking like. And then we also talk about college tips, like how to apply for school, how to pay for school, how to find scholarships, and other good stuff that you need to know right before going to college and applying for college. So usually the program is held at the University of Oregon, but due to COVID-19, we will be hosting SAIL virtually. So keep that in mind, and it's happening the last week of July. That's July 27th through the 31st. So mark your calendars. Until then, you can stay connected with us through our Instagram page at uo.sailoregon, or you can check out our website. Like I said, it's sail.uoregon.edu. And there our registration will be live May 26th. That's this upcoming Tuesday. And then I can answer any questions that you all have in the Q&A. Thank you, Lara.
Thank you, Raul. That's great. Yes, we really hope to see a lot of you this summer in our live sales sessions, and we will be bringing back many of our students, and a lot of research student representatives can be involved in the summer too. So you will get to continue this kind of experience and learn as much as you ever wanted to know about the college process this summer. We have a brief video I'd love to show you, just kind of sharing the SAIL experience.
Hold on. Sorry. I really didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do with my life after high school. My family's always had trouble with money, and college just never seemed to be an option for me.
I honestly just felt like I wouldn't belong at a university.
But then I found SAIL, and it turned everything around.
I felt welcome in a place that was totally new to me.
And I found the help I needed to apply for student loans and scholarships. After going through the SAIL summer program at the UO, I saw that college wasn't this big, scary idea. It was meeting amazing new people, taking fun and interesting classes that helped me find new passions.
Making friends and pushing your limits.
Connection.
Community.
And inspiration, because even if my future feels uncertain, I can still prepare myself for success along the way. Come join us for the SAIL summer program at the University of Oregon.
Fabulous. Thank you, Cora, very much for showing our video. Students, if you have not heard of SAIL before, please join us this summer, July 27th through the 31st. We have just a couple quick minutes. If there are any other questions that you would like to submit in the Q&A, we could answer those. And at the bottom of our screen, there are many URL links for you if you would like to follow up with any of the student programs that we talked about today, the Assure research group, and admissions and financial aid. Any questions you could have, there's a lot of links for you. I really, really hope you get to participate in as much of the symposium as you can this afternoon. And like we mentioned before, if you do not get to see it all today. It will all be recorded for you so that you can watch at any time at your leisure. One of our Q&A questions is, how long would the online sale be? We will be sending out registration information, and it will be posted on our website on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 26th. So you can find a lot more details then, but it will be a 1-week program. We will have 2 hours a day of Zoom sessions we will ask students to participate in, but we will also have all-day events that you can pop in and out of as you please. So students who only like to be online for a little amount of time can have a blast with us, and those that want to spend all day, there's plenty of material for you. So hopefully you will join us. Another question that just popped up is the SAIL program also available for people who are not the first of their family to attend college? This is a great question. This summer is a completely new experience for us, going virtual. So we are able to broaden our audience of students and participants. So if SAIL is something of interest to you and learning more about the pre-college and college experience, please register and join all of the information sessions we'll have. So it'll be really fun. You'll get to see a lot of these same faces, as well as many, many more college students that will be our staff, and you will learn a lot. So this was an incredible session. We really hope you got a lot out of our time together, and please continue to reach out to any of us at any time. You can reach the SAIL program staff at sailstaff@uoregon.edu if you want to email us questions. Thank you all, and thank you to our wonderful panelists. We will see you this summer. Enjoy your day.